Hello, everyone. I actually changed the title of my talk. I felt the freedom that I could do that without the organizers hating me. I also have to connect this to my internet, because the last time I did this demo in Miami, it didn't work. So hopefully, let's get it connected. 1 second. Let's hope it works, because when demos come, it's always an issue. Oh, right. We're here. Back. Hello, everyone. How are we? Everyone okay? There's some people here, which is great. I don't see you all that well, so don't know if you're smiling or mad. Anyway, the name of the talk, we changed it to Eliminating Runs on My Machine Problem, a Developer's Guide. There's not much to guide about, because ideally what we show you will resolve that problem absolutely completely. So before we get started, I got a bit of an intro. But just for you that don't know, I'm the co-founder of a company called Daytona. I also co-founded Shift like 13 years ago or whatever, like a really long time ago. Before that, I co-founded with the same team a company called Code Anywhere, which was probably, as far as I know, the very first browser-based IDE ever. And yeah, so Daytona is a sort of a second act to that first one. Oh, we have someone in the audience from Daytona. Great, glad to hear. If we have issues with demos, we know we can call someone here. So dev environments, first off, just like why is that an issue and why we are obsessed about that? Well, about 56% of developer productivity time is lost. And I also have to thank a couple of investors here that are listening to this pitch probably like the 56th time in their lives. And so how is that productive time lost, and what do we mean by that? Well, the average developer, believe it or not, works actually 9.1 hours a day, according to some surveys that we checked out and that we did on ourselves. And if you remove your non-working hours, your overhead tasks like emails and all that crap that you don't like to do, your productive time is a very small segment of that. And that is wasted on stuff like your dev environments, waiting for builds and whatnot. So a very small portion is actually left on coding. And so I always ask this question, how many people actually know or what the works on my machine, what it alludes to? How many people actually know what this phrase means? Please, hands up. Who knows what it means? So there's a bunch of you that don't. Okay, great. So I guess I have to explain it to people what it means. So basically, I'm working on a new project, or I come into work, or my boss sends me a new project I want to work on. And so usually what you do, you'll take a look at the README file if it's written as it should be, which it probably isn't. And then you're going to go install everything that you need to install and try to figure it out. And what you'll do is you'll call your colleague or your boss, whatever, and you'll say, hey, it doesn't work, because it'll never work the first time. And then they'll say, well, did you do this and did you do that? And you're like, oh, I didn't do this, and try it again, it doesn't work. And you do that 4 or 5 times or whatever, and at one point, it still doesn't work. And then that person says, well, it works on my machine, and so you go and figure it out. So that's what it means, and it's a very common thing that happens. So for those of you that don't know, I hope I've slightly enlightened you today with that bit of the talk. The other thing around dev environments is not just that you have to set it up, but there's also issues around scalability itself. So you're working on your laptop like you usually do, like a normal person would do. And so, but you need some more resources. This is a pretty crappy screenshot that I haven't changed actually from last year. I should find a new one. But ideally, you're trying to spin up multiple machines. You can't. You need a GPU. Today, that's pretty common. And you don't have the resources to run it on your machine. So how do you actually go out and about do that? Well, you'll probably get an EC2 instance or a droplet or something, any remote machine, and you'll go and set that up over there and use that as your dev environment. That adds extra complexity to what you've already been doing, on your local machine. But now you have other inconsistencies. So working on your local machine has one set of problems. Working on your remote has all of those and the issues of your remote machine. And so this is something fairly common that happens to people. And when we were researching Daytona, I'd like to put this in, we were calling up all these big, large tech companies. So companies that have created a service like this are LinkedIn, Shopify, Spotify, Uber, Stripe, Plaid, Eventbrite, like all the big tech companies. The most interesting one for me, actually, when we were creating this was Shopify. So when we talked to Don Kelly, he's the guy that runs the entire product team that has a Daytona-like service inside, basically managing all their dev environments, local and remote. At Shopify, originally, the team started about 7 years ago. And the team everyone worked on local machines. And before an engineer got their machine, it went through his team, and they set everything up for you so that when you received your laptop, you could actually start coding the very first day or committing the very first day. But at some point, this is his quote, I did not make this up. He said, projects of Shopify are becoming so complex, so many moving parts, that the cables, I remember the cables attached to laptops were actually melting, and they had to create a different solution. And the solution for that actually was to create a remote dev environment solution which had everything working out of the box automatically, similar to the one that they had the desktop. So for them, they have every engineer in Shopify has a CLI tool, which basically, I don't remember the commands, but it's basically create environment local or create environment cloud. Basically, very simple. It's the same experience, whether you're working locally or remotely, and developers get to pick what they want essentially to work with. So they get to choose, but it's always the exact same feeling. And that was like a really, really big inspiration for us when building out Daytona, because you want to have this ability. It is essentially like having multiple laptops at the same time. Like you can have 30 of them if you want. You're just spitting out laptops, trying different things. Or if I'm helping a colleague, I can do that without turning off the machine I'm working on right now. And the last thing that is very complex with dev environments, and this might not affect a lot of people here, but very much in some enterprises or entities, security is of utmost importance. And it's so important that they will give you the worst development environment in the world, or the worst experience in the world, which is this. Any hands up if anyone has used this in their life ever, please? Yes, 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 yes. And how many people want to use this? Hands up. One. We have one. Can we say why? Just share. I've never had that hand up. Why do you want to? It's just like, it's slow, it's clunky, you have lag, you have all these. But every day, every day. So if you're working for a defense contractor or for someone in aerospace, the only way historically to offer a dev environment to a developer, but having all the data stored securely was through something like this. And you'd basically log into this, you'd have your desktop over there, you have your ID, IntelliJ, whatever, some music clips, whatever it may be, and you'd actually work through that. And so I feel that that's like a terrible experience, and I would never want to do that for 8 hours a day ever in my life. And so in my former life, I was a system administrator, and I had to administrate a lot of these. Definitely not my cup of tea, what I would like to do. So what is the dream? The dream is essentially, can we solve the problems of dev environments that will solve all of these things? The setup times, the works on my machine, that it works locally and remotely, all the same, and that it's absolutely secure and it's not a tremendously painful experience. And so for me, especially, there's probably a few people here that have driven in a Waymo. Has anyone driven a Waymo at all? Anyone? No one? Not even you? Never? Insane. Anyway, I've driven a Waymo recently, and to me, it's like absolutely insane that you can hit a button on your phone, a car comes without a driver, you get in, it drops you off. It actually works pretty good, I have to tell you. And I am aware there's some remote assistance and whatnot, but in this day and age, we can move cars automatically all by ourselves, but we can't like install libraries automatically and all this bullshit. Like for me, that is unbelievable that this issue has not been solved and that we have to do these things by hand, but we have the ability to do tremendous things as in moving cars magically. And so when we're actually building out the solution, what we have tried, we did take a bit of an Uber-esque experience. There's basically 3 things you have to pick. So when you're picking a Uber or Waymo, same, it's like, where do I want to go? Where am I? And what vehicle is going to take me there? So to set up a dev environment using Daytona or something similar is basically, where is my project? GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, Git, whatever, Gitness, whichever one you like. You pick where you want to run it. Is it on my local machine if I really want to? Is it on Azure? DigitalOcean, GCP, some bare metal servers, Fly.io, wherever you want, and pick the ID of choice. So I want to edit with, VS Code, Cursor now actually, if anyone's using Cursor, any of the IntelliJs, whatever. So you pick those 3 things, and you're off. There's nothing else for you to do. And so that brings us to the most important part of our talk, where I have to pray to the demo gods, because otherwise I've had demos not work. So we'll see how that goes. So I want to show you all really quickly of what this actually looks like in real life, and this sort of dream that we talked about. And hopefully it's not a dream, not a nightmare. So we'll see how that goes. Let me switch up a few things real quick. I'm going to show you multiple. So, and I'm actually looking over here on this screen down here, by the way. So this is going to be fun as hell. I'm going to spin up an environment with Daytona running on my local host, and I'm going to spin up one on a brand new DigitalOcean droplet. And that's the reason I'm keeping my DigitalOcean screen open, so you can see it actually happen in real life. So I'm going to start off with the DigitalOcean one, because it does take extra time to spin up an entire droplet, and then go to the local host, and then I'll switch back. So basically, to write this, Daytona create. Did my something crash? Hold up. It already crashed. There you go. Daytona create. I didn't write it well. I'm sorry. I feel like an old person right now. So it's going to ask me where do I want to start my project from. GitHub, sorry. Daytona organization. Just a simple hello world app. Hello world. And it's going to ask me, I've set up my local, on my local machine, on DigitalOcean in Amsterdam, DigitalOcean in New York, and in AWS. I'm going to do DigitalOcean in Amsterdam. And it's going to go out and do this. And you should see fairly quickly on this other side that it's actually going to spin it up automatically. So the idea is that you, as an engineer, don't have to worry about where it's running, the infrastructure behind it. So here it is. It's setting it up automatically. This is going to take a bit of time. And if you delete workspace, dev environment, it'll delete it from there as well. In the meantime, just because it's faster, I am going to show you the same project. I'll do the same project just so you see the difference between them or the similarities. So same project, hello world. I'm going to call this hello world local. Local. Run it on my local machine, and it's going to go out and set it. And so what Daytona does is it essentially will, if it's on a remote machine, it'll go out and spin on an entire droplet or VM or whatever it may be. If it's on local, it'll just use your local Docker. It will then pull the default image. It will check out the repository. It will read through your entire repository. It'll check if there's any configuration files. So dev container, Docker file. In the future, Nix, Flux, dev file. So the idea is that any configuration file that a dev environment can have, it will find, and it will execute against them if there is. This one found a dev container, so it's executing all that, which means that when it does open up my VS Code, it will automatically be up and running. I did forget my -C to automatically open up VS Code, but I'll do it by hand at the end. And so this is just a simple hello world app that's actually spinning up, and everything will be up and ready at the end. And what's also interesting is that you'll find that on both machines, local or DigitalOcean, it'll all be on localhost, so I don't have to worry where that is. And the one that is on DigitalOcean and localhost, I'll be able to send you a QR code you'll see on the screen, and you'll be able to scan that, and you'll be able to, can you be able to scan that? Do you see my somewhere? Oh, it's up there. Okay, I can't see it. You'll be able to scan that and actually open a preview. So even though it's running on my local machine, you'll be able to see a preview of that. And so we got this one up and running. So Daytona code. The local. Oh, it's on my other screen. Sorry. I have to share my screen. Get to. This is actually Cursor. So how many of you have used Cursor, by the way? One. Not many people use Cursor. Okay, cool. So this project it opened up my local ID. I have to just type yarn dev. And here you go. So hello world running on localhost, which you guys would expect because this is on my localhost machine, right? Let me just hide this real quick. But if I do this real quick, Daytona forward. What was the port number? Port number 5173. 5173 -- public. Go. Here we are. I won't even open this right now. What I will do, because before you guys start scanning this really quickly, I'll do a screenshot because it'll move. So if you scan this QR code, you should be able to open this. This is running on my local host, and it should work automatically. I can zoom it out a bit if you want. Does it work or not work? Huh? No. It's loading. Well, it's from my machine. There's so many of you. Wait. Yes or no? That's because there's this blue pixel here. Hold up. I touched something. Because I touched it with my mouse. Now scan this. If it doesn't work, well, one of our engineers here is to fix it right now. Does it work? Yes, it does. I see you guys are clicking here. I see it's working because I see it in the log down here. Is it still loading or not? Huh? It's still loading. It'll work tomorrow. There you go. It works on my machine, exactly. It doesn't work, really. Did I mix up the ports? Hold up. There you go, demos. Thank you, demo gods. This was appreciated. No. There you go, Toma. Thank you. It actually is loading. I don't know why. Huh. Oh, I messed up the ports for sure. You don't have to scan it. I see that it's not working. I don't know why, though. I'll come back to that and hopefully it'll work again, but bear with me. I was going to try something. Anyway. And the funny thing is, I've done this demo 46 times. It only has an issue when I'm at shift. That's the funniest part of it, which is insane. No, you don't have to scan it. I see that people are attached. Something doesn't work on this, and so there is a bug. The URL? I'm trying, man. No. I know that. I have to look at this screen down here, by the way. It's not that easy. It's a problem to see things when you're old. Yeah. Same. It'll work tomorrow. Well, thank you. That sort of killed the whole demo, by the way. That killed the interesting part of it. So thank you, Toma, for that. Appreciate it. Anyway, I appreciate that. I appreciate the... We did spend a bunch of time on that as well, so that's also cool. So now we're... The idea was that I change this here. Hello, Zadar. Did I write Zadar? And that should automatically change on your preview, on your phone, on your machine, which it didn't for some reason, which is terrible. But yeah, it definitely an issue. So just quickly, let me switch this real back. Anyway, that's why I try to pray the demo gods, so the demo gods show me what they're supposed to do. And every time I do this demo, I hope it breaks for you too. We'll be talking about it later on. Anyway, I'm going to run you through what this is supposed to do so you guys can see it all together. So I'm basically talking really quickly. So ideally, it works the same on local remote. If it's on a remote, it'll create a VM. If not, it'll just use your local Docker. It creates a dev environment inside that VM or your Docker container. It clones the repo. It executes any configuration files. It'll securely connect and exchange the security keys with your IDE, so you don't have to do anything there. It creates a VPN tunnel to the remote machine to make sure that's fully secure. It proxies everything to localhost, and it should add a fully qualified domain name. It should do that, which it didn't. And all you're supposed to do there and hit Daytona create, and it should work automatically. And so with that, we call this development environment manager. Not the easiest word to say, but couldn't think of anything better. And we believe that something like this should be 100% open source. So we'll see at the commits if any of the contributors actually mess something up and why that didn't work right now. And it is. So this Apache 2.0, anyone can use it. This QR code will work, probably. It basically just takes you to the GitHub repository, fork it, download it, star it, use it, whatever, comment on it. And so, yeah, that is it. I have survived my demo not working and appreciate your time. But I'm happy to take any questions that you want to hate on me at this moment. Otherwise, that's it. Thank you so much.